Leo, I'm expecting really good things in this August spread. After all, for most Leos, it is our birthday, isn't it? But also, it seems like the tests that you've been put through for so many years are coming to something of an end. They won't end completely. You pass them, you know. And I think those tests are reflected in the feeling of lack of money. Could even call it poverty and no mates of the past. Bottom right. But now is a completely new age. We're at a time of karmic judgment. Almost the end of time. The judgment at the end of time. You're acutely aware of these things, acutely aware of these changes, and not for the first time you're going inside yourself looking for answers, and that is the best place to find them. In the future you're going to be planning something very radical, and I'm not surprised at that at all. I think you're saying to yourself, well, there's been so many changes, there's been so much disruption in my life. What can I do that's really different? And you are a planner. You are somebody that will lay down plans. So this is no surprise. And the change is here this month, Wheel of Fortune, you know. Not only is this major change, but it should bring about good fortune for you. So that's exactly what I was expecting. Now, whenever we have some good fortune, we ought to give thanks to whoever we think is responsible. Enjoy yourself with family, with friends. Give thanks. And if you do, I think it changes things somewhat. If you don't, there's justice coming. It surely isn't against you. It's justice, so it could even be a court case. If you're like me, there's a number of loose ends, all that could have legal implications, all of which I'm in the right. Doesn't mean to say I'm not concerned about them, because these things are never easy, are they? But, you know, they should go in my favour. That planning something radical, something different, is that a response to losing one of these or winning one of these? We don't know, and I don't think it matters. Oh, of course, this is karmic judgment, so you should be winning these, to be perfectly honest. But let's get into it, Leo. So the overall energy is a day of judgment type of energy. A judgment at the end of times, or certainly at the beginning of new times. It's karmic, it's definitely karmic. And given all that you've been through, Leo, I'm certain it's in your favour. So I think this is a lovely card, particularly to have in this position, because it runs through all the other ones. Which is why I changed my mind on that judgment card, justice card, and said no, it is in your favour, because of this is karmic, so everything should be flowing your way, should be going your way, yeah. So it's looking good for you, if you ask me. And Leo, you have been through it. I mean, let's face it, you've really been through it. Severely tested, you know. And this is the past, the recent past. In my case, it's not that, well, it is recent, but, you know, it goes back. You're probably fed up of hearing me say it, but, you know, it took me 29 months to get hold of my inheritance from when my parents died from the UK. And it was a constant battle. It wasn't pleasant, you know. It was confrontation after confrontation, like I got no friends. And then I have, 5 different pension pots. And, well, none of them were easy to claim, but one of them took 14 months, you know. One admitted many errors, largely due to AI, you know, arguing with me. And in fact paid me compensation, but I got the compensation before I had a heart attack, and the heart attack I blame on the stress from all this. So, you know, really been through it. Felt like I've had little money and no mates. And I think, thankfully, this spread is saying it's over. That's not to say you'll never be challenged, but these particular challenges are coming to an end. And before I had a heart... Now, there have been many times recently when you've gone inside yourself looking for answers. And you're doing it again, but I think this time it's less about you sort of trying to control things, as much just looking at things, less, almost disinterested. No, disinterested is putting it too strongly. As an observer, rather than someone who's trying to control it anymore. You're just saying, oh yeah, this is what's happening in life. That's interesting. One of the things, you know, as I say, that I do absolutely blame AI for my heart attack. You know, I mean, yes, I was trapped in a dystopian nightmare, you know, and it was a dystopian nightmare to be told that virtually your entire life savings and your parents' life savings couldn't be accessed by you in a country in which there is no social security provision. So it was a death sentence, you know, and there was no compassion, and of course there isn't with AI, and I couldn't work this out because nobody tells you you're dealing with AI. So you think you're dealing with people, you're sort of appealing to their humanity, and of course, being AI, there is no humanity, there is no soul. There's only an on-off switch, and it's that really caused me problems. And I'm beginning to spot AI everywhere. There was a bot recently on my channel that I suspect there's going to, you know, they've scraped my channel to put up a sort of AI copy of my channel, even though my channel makes no money, or no real money. You know, I'm pretty certain that's what's been going on. Yeah. So I do go inside myself looking for... Is answers even the right word? Looking for intelligence, looking for reasons. Now I'm pretty certain you do find what you're looking for, because in the future it sees you planning. Now you are a planner, Leo, but what you're looking at is you're looking at the major changes in your life, major changes that include both justice and judgement, and I'm sure they're in your favour. And so now you're saying, okay, well, these things have worked out. I mean, maybe you've had a major, you know, well, if it's me, maybe I've had a major victory over AI. You know, as an empath, I can spot it and it disquietens me. And really there ought to be an obligation to tell people when they're being subjected to AI, you know. And whilst it's not a crusade, I have been wronged, and I would like to see justice. And when I get it, then I have to think, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Because there isn't that much left of it. And I might not have enough money to do anything, but I've enough money to cater for my heart's desires, as it were. And I don't have many since my heart attack, but you know. So some quite radical planning going on in the future. And you know, as if the justice and judgment energies aren't good enough, we've got the energy here of the Wheel of Fortune. So I mean, you know there's big changes. You know there's still big changes happening in your life. You can feel it, and this is it. This is one here. Almost certainly it brings with it good luck and good fortune. That's not to say you'll never be challenged again, but there is good luck and good fortune here. And I think in the light of this leads to the outcome. So I'm sure the outcome's a good outcome, even though it needn't be taken that way. I'm sure it is. Which makes this next energy a little bit more difficult to decipher.
Mon Dieu, mon Dieu,
In the introduction, I said that you were to give thanks. And you should, you know, I'm not taking it back. But I think I should interpret this energy a little bit differently. And that if we look at the other energies, they're very sort of individualistic energies. You know, including the hermit, you know, going inside yourself looking for answers. And I think this is just an energy saying that things could be a little bit different. You don't need to be controlling everything. Why don't you work with others? And you've already accepted you don't need to be in control of everything. But why don't you release the reins a little bit more? Work with others, look for creative things that please you all. I'm sure that's what he's talking about. I don't think it detracts from the other energies. It's just providing you with an alternative that might be a less difficult path to tread. And you see, the outcome, I'm sure, is a good outcome. It's justice. And I don't think working with others would change it. It would put a different nuance on it. I'm sure this is justice coming your way. And as I say, from my own point of view, I've been wronged massively, particularly by artificial intelligence and its application, you know. I mean, since leaving the UK, every government department and service provider I deal with seem to spot a victim on whom they can make up their performance targets, you know. And I've just been abused by every interaction I have with the UK since I left over 12 years ago. You know, including paying out large sums of money that I don't owe, but frankly, it was either do that or become an international fugitive. So I'm not saying I'll ever get those back, but there are some things that I think justice could be coming my way. So I think this is all really positive, and I'm going to conclude for you, Leo. Leo, I'm sure this is a fabulous spread for you for August. And let's face it, it ought to be. It's your month, or most of you, it's your birthday month, isn't it? We've got 2 cards that suggest to me that things are finally coming your way. One is the overall energy of karmic justice, and I'm certain it's coming your way, or karmic judgment, and the other is justice, and I'm certain some things are going to come your way. One of the reasons why I think everything's finally coming your way is we have the Wheel of Fortune, which, I mean, you know there's going to be more change. You can feel it, Leo, but it should bring good fortune with it. In fact, I'm sure it does for you. And Leo, you know, it's just reward. You've been through so much. There have been times in the recent past when you've been worried sick over money. There have been times in the recent past when you felt like you're all alone, don't have a friend in the world. There have been times in the recent past where everything has felt like a Orwellian dystopia that's been created for humanity, but for you in particular. And you know it's finally over. And you know, you're going inside yourself. I don't think you're trying to control things anymore. You're not looking for answers. You're just trying to explain everything that's happened to you and see it in this wonder of everything, you know. Things could be a little bit different for you, and that is, you know, I talked about controlling then. You're very individualistic. You try and do it all yourself rather than working with others. But so much of what you're doing is for your family. So why not include them a little bit more, and maybe things would be a little bit easier for you if you included others. But it's not necessary, you know, it's up to you. Certainly after August, when you've got these things out of the way, you're going to be planning, and I mean really planning, some quite radical changes in your life. Because quite radical changes occurred, and now you're responding to it. It's the right thing to be doing. It's the right thing to be doing, Leah. I see this all very positively.
Que le pardon et la clémence, oh mon Dieu, les ramènent.